Sovereign Saurus here, welcome to a new video. Today I have a new coin and we're going to talk about the 4 places to buy gold from. Now there are 4 broad places and we're going to just cover them briefly and then go over the pros and cons of each after that. So the new coin I picked up today was a best value gold sovereign and it's a 1900, which means it has the Victoria Veil head. Nice condition there. So, going back to places to buy your gold, there are 4 main places, okay? And the most important thing, I don't care what place, wherever you're buying from, just make sure they are reputable and you are buying what you think you're buying, genuine gold. It would be a terrible shame to spend however much money on, an ounce of gold, a quarter ounce of gold, half ounce, whatever size, and for it not to be what it's supposed to be. So for that reason, definitely if you are new to buying gold, I would stick to somewhere that's reputable and has a history, somewhere that is just genuine, so you're buying genuine metals. And always do, test what you're buying as well. So broadly, you've got 4 choices, online dealers being one. So these are the big, online dealers in the UK. We have Atkinson's, Hatton Garden Metals, and Bullion by Post, a few others. There are obviously others in different countries, so you'll probably know what they are for where you are. Next, you've got the second-hand market. So you could be buying from individuals who have bought gold, got a collection, and decide to sell. So maybe one day I decide to sell my gold, and I put it for sale. You could be buying off someone like me. Other options would be a local coin store, so someone who still specialises in coins but is perhaps a smaller dealer. They know what they're doing, but they are not perhaps doing, giant volumes like some of the online dealers. And the final broad category would be other shops. So people who are selling gold, and maybe they're jewelers by trade, but they do get the odd coin in or something like that. So they're not typically a bullion shop, but they sometimes do. So in the UK, maybe pawn shops would count under there, something like cash generators or cash converters, whatever they're called. Maybe they're 2 different shops, but you know what I mean. So pros and cons. Now, first of all, the online dealers, you're buying from somewhere reputable. They are pretty competitive with their pricing. Now, there isn't one dealer that's always going to be better than others. So if you're going to go for a certain coin like this, maybe it will be a higher premium on one dealer than another. If you're going for like a best value Krugerrand, you just want the cheapest 1 ounce piece of gold you can get that's in a nice condition, then another dealer might be cheaper. So it depends what you're going to be buying as to which will be the better option. Also, something to consider is stock levels and the service you get. So for my first ever gold purchases, I looked around online and I eventually went with Bullion by Post and continued to use them since. So when I ordered from them, even in times of like total lockdown, they managed to get my orders out to me next day, things like that. Whereas some of the other dealers were taking a little bit longer still. And, even over a week, I've had some orders come from other dealers. And, the other thing to consider is obviously the price. So if you're going to be paying, £10 extra for 1 ounce of gold, it's not that much. But if you're going to be paying £10 extra for a best value sovereign, that's quite an amount. So depending on how much you're going to be ordering will dictate the price. Some dealers, it might be cheaper to use if you're just buying 1 single coin, but another dealer might be cheaper if you're buying 10 of the coin. So that's something to consider. And then, with this particular sovereign that I just picked up, this is from Bullion by Post. So it's rare that you get the Victorias in your best value. Often you get some Georges or maybe some Elizabeths. But yeah, really happy with that. That was a pretty good pickup. So the only sort of disadvantages with the online dealers, you can't really see what you're buying often before you get it. So they might have a picture of a Krugerrand and it's representative. It's not the exact coin you are buying. So it should be good condition, but just check, check you're buying bullion condition. It could have some scratches on it. People's interpretation of bullion condition varies, especially in silver. So bullion condition, this is very nice actually, considering it's from the Royal Mint. Some might have scratches on these higher sort of polished areas. Queen's cheek, I've just smudged that because my hands are warm. But yeah, you might have scratches on the Queen's cheek from it being in the tube. That's considered to be bullion condition. I wouldn't want to see a big scratch across the Queen's face where it's been tested or something by some sort of brutal non-coin shop. But just something to consider. And while we're on that point actually, Bullion by Post have a referral offer. So there's a link in the description. If it's your first order, you can get a free 1 ounce silver coin with a qualifying order over £250. So have a look on there if you're interested. And like I say, it's only new customers. But yeah, reputable dealer. I'm happy to keep buying from them. In actually the interest of transparency, the coin I bought, which is this one, obviously I did pay for it with my own money, but when I bought this, it was about 30p more than the best value at Atkinson's, who were the cheapest on the day. But it comes in a capsule, next day delivery, and for 30p, I'd rather go with them just because they tend to get a better service. So moving on to the next broad place to buy gold, you've got the second-hand market. So I've picked up a few coins from the second-hand market. The obvious downsides is you don't necessarily know who you're dealing with. It's a private individual. They might not have years of trading experience. And for that reason, it could be their first sale, or maybe they've not done many sales. So they might not really know. They might not be very slick. And maybe they don't package well enough or something like that. So you've got to just be careful on the second-hand market. The other potential downside is, do they know what they've bought? Have they got a genuine coin, or have they been perhaps the victim of some dubious coin seller in the past, and have they got genuine stuff? So for certain things, if it's on the second-hand market, some gold sovereigns, and they're maybe £1 cheaper than the dealers, I probably wouldn't bother unless they're really something that I want, a certain date or something like that. The pros of the second-hand market, though, you might be able to meet somebody face-to-face. You might be able to transact in cash, which might be an option you're interested in. There's obviously flexibility, so perhaps you could do a trade. Maybe you have some silver and you want to get some gold or something like that. You could come to terms and perhaps organise, a useful trade for you both. And other just pros and cons really of second-hand market. You can obviously find someone local. Maybe you end up dealing with them in future, and they're not a dealer, so they're not having to make big profits to keep the lights on, etc. They're just, getting rid of the gold. Maybe they want to sell it really quickly without any hassle, and it creates an opportunity for you. You just never know. So, like I say, always make sure what you're buying is reputable and genuine, but that could be an option. And next we'll go on to the local coin shops. So I really like local coin shops. They're a bit smaller, sort of small enough to care perhaps, when some people don't like dealing with big companies. And you often get some nice deals in there. It depends on your local coin store though. In the UK, they're not really that prevalent, but there is a couple of smaller dealers that I've dealt with. One is very good for sovereigns. So, for example, these shields I often get from him. And yeah, he just tends to put, they're not probably going to go to grading or anything. You see there's a little bit of wear there, but it's not a bad condition coin. And he'll often put a little bundle together of like best value shields, if you like. So they won't be such a premium compared to like the real nice collector examples. But, at the same time, they're affordable as more of a stacker. So he tends to be my go-to person for those, and yeah, you just never know really. So the advantage of going into a local physical shop, you can obviously see the coin you're buying. So in the case of this one, this came in while I was in a local coin shop. It's an 1882 Young Victoria Sovereign, and it's a Melbourne mint, which you can see the mint mark down here. But this came in, and just look at the condition. I've not got any other Young Victorias in such good condition, I don't think. If you look at the lines in the hair, there's a lot of detail in there. So I was able to see this coin and think, well, yeah, I'll buy that actually. And the local dealer, he put £5 extra on top of that, you know, a few bucks extra over just his normal best value stock. But I was happy to pick that up all day. That would sell really easily on the second-hand market, you know, if you popped it up there. So it's always worth getting the best condition coins you can and the lowest premium you can within reason. So if you're going to pay, you know, a £100 over spot for this, or £50 over spot for this, or £10 over spot for this, I'd probably go with the Krugerrand. But there are certain advantages with the British coins if you're in UK. So obviously consider those, but that's not really for this video. So the final point is looking at other shops. So we're not looking at actual coin dealers. Maybe it's an antique shop. Maybe it's just a general we buy gold shop. Maybe it is, you know, some sort of other shop. So if that's the case, then you might end up getting a coin that's a little bit special because they don't know all about the coin, and you know, they just don't know how to exactly price it. They're perhaps not up to date with the exact market price. So something to consider. But again, they're not experts necessarily on gold coins, and they might just put a giant scratch across the front of the coin, test it and say, oh yeah, it's genuine gold, but now it's just been defaced and basically ruined. So it would have no collector premium. It would more or less just be, you know, melt price, if you like, even struggle to get the 3 or 4% premium for a gold sovereign. So overall, to summarise, I would say don't sweat the small stuff. You know, if it's a couple of pounds, couple of bucks, either way, as long as you're buying, you know, what you know is genuine gold from a trusted dealer, you will do okay in the long run, I think. So hope you enjoyed the video. Talk to you soon.